Buongiorno e buonasera a tutti. Welcome back to Crave Italy. As we close Italian Heritage Month, this episode celebrates the voices and traditions that continue to unite Italy and the United States. We are wrapping up this special month with an incredible guest, Matt Maiocco, award-winning journalist and long-time 49ers reporter. And later, stay tuned for L'Angolo della Lingua Italiana with Arianna. And now let's begin. Matt, welcome to Crave Italy.
Oh, Samantha, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Matt, can you share a little bit about your family background, where your Italian roots came from, and what being Italian American mean to you?
Yeah, both my grandparents immigrated from Italy. They did not know each other in Italy. My grandfather came over in 1911, my grandmother in 1921, and they met kind of randomly in a small town, a small community up in Northern California. I went to Corning High School, and the mailing address is Corning, right on I-5, but I often joke that I grew up in a suburb of Corning called Richfield, small town of about, not even a town, a community of 250 people. I went to a grade school that had kindergarten through 8th grade all under one roof. So that's where they met, and that's where I grew up. So always kind of felt that Italian culture because of the small community. And where I grew up was only about a mile and a half from where my grandparents lived. So I've always kind of felt that. I knew my grandmother very well. My grandfather passed away about 19 years before I was born, so never had the pleasure of meeting him, but certainly heard a lot about him. And getting to know through the years, just getting to know the family history, I feel has kind of brought me closer to those Italian roots.
Do you know which region in Italy your family is from?
I do. My grandfather was from Penango in Piedmont, and then we don't know that side of the family, the Maiocco side of the family, at all. Haven't met them, but the other side, my grandmother's side, Clorinda Lola, we know them very well. I've been there a couple of times in a little town, little community, Valverde, which is in Pavia. And my cousin Gary and his side of the family, they've been over several times, 4 times, but I've been over twice. And one of the things that's always kind of struck me is anytime I go over there, you're just kind of overwhelmed by the love that they show you. And once you're there, you belong to them.
Exactly.
They don't, you can't buy anything, you can't stay anywhere else. And what's so interesting about that little village of Valverde is that they still have the probably now 250-year-old home that my grandmother was born in. And back in the day, the humans lived on the second floor, and the ground floor was where they kept the livestock. And to go and visit and stay in that house is kind of brings chills to my spine thinking about it, and just being in there with all that history, and really, like I said, kind of enables you to connect with your past.
So also today we have somebody else in studio with us, your cousin Gary, right?
Yes, and Gary has been to Valverde, and in fact, he went there before I did. I've been twice, and so Gary, I remember coming back to the United States and talking about the relatives, the cousins that we have over there, and that really kind of got my interest going in to go over for myself and meet all of our relatives that he had told me so many great things about.
Nice. So, Gary, let's go back at the time. What did you feel? What is your experience was?
Oh, it was amazing. My parents had been over several times to visit, my mom and dad. And in 2001, my parents said, invited me and my brother and sister-in-law to go with them. So we all showed up. And we flew into Milan, and the cousins picked us up, and we stayed with them in the house that my grandmother was born in, and they were just amazing. And my mom spoke Italian, so it was nice she was our translator. But they were just so gracious and so fun, and we couldn't. I mean, we couldn't do anything. They took care of us, like Matt was saying, and we just love the experience. And I've been back numerous times since then, and my wife has met them. My one of my daughters and her husband and my grandchildren have met them. They so wanted to go meet them. And so they got the opportunity a couple years ago on spring break to go there and meet all the cousins, and they were just so nice to us.
Yeah, Samantha, I got to tell you, the first time I went there, one of my cousins said to me and greeted me, "Welcome home." And that was obviously the first time I've ever been there, but that's the way they viewed us, was that we might be living in the United States, but I think they still considered that our real home was there in Italy.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
But that's how Italian people, how we are. I feel like I just met you before. I feel like, oh, I know him.
I feel the same way about you.
Right. I think it's just a connection, maybe just, I'm so glad you guys have this connection together. It's beautiful. And I know you just bought a house there, right? So
yes.
Now, are you moving to Italy?
Well, if it was up to my wife, yes. Gradually, we want to spend more and more time there. We found we visited Lucca. We have a friend who owned a restaurant where we live near Sacramento, and we had a friend who owned the restaurant, was from Lucca, and she told us all about Lucca, and we said we have to go there. And so in 2017 we visited it, or 2019 we visited and loved it, fell in love with Lucca. So we bought a little house up on the hills above Lucca.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, and my wife is there now, and and loving life.
Exactly.
Oh,
right?
it's just amazing. Yeah, I'm going back over Christmas.
Okay, beautiful time to go back
yes.
there. Matt, were there any Italian traditions, meals, or family value you grew up with still influence your daily life? And this is for both of you.
Oh, I think everything, growing up, I think there was always the emphasis on family. And, I think driving over here, Gary and I were talking about the meals that we had, and the food that I haven't seen anywhere else. The one meal that I can still picture my grandma making, and her little house in Corning filling up with the aroma of the sauces, malfatti. So I'd never seen it anywhere, and basically what it is it's a spinach gnocchi. But at an early age, I had no idea what it was, and if you told me there's spinach in it, I probably wouldn't have liked it. But it was great, and I was just recently looking, like, where can I find a malfatti recipe? I've made it in the past, but one of the things that popped up was that it's loosely translated, or maybe not even loosely translated, I think literally translated to badly made, which is the gnocchi is very irregular, and it's just kind of clumped together, and you put it in the boiling pot, and when it rises, it's ready, but it's not uniform. It's not a real pretty dish to look at, but man, was it tasty. So I think that certainly the food, and then there's just the connection with family.
What about you, Gary?
So I grew up here in the Bay Area. My mom had moved down here during the war to work for the phone company, and that's how she met my dad after the war. And so I grew up down here, but we would go up to Corning about once a month or once every other month. We on Friday night, we pack up the station wagon and head up the road and go stay at my grandmother's house, and we'd hang out with them all weekend. And we'd go have meals with Grandma, and we'd hang out on the farm, and it was just a great weekend every time. Because I've really gotten into all the heritage. I mean, I've known a lot about it. My dad's German. I knew a lot about more about the German side, but it's just nice, and I actually wish that, our parents don't always share their experiences and what they know about our family, and unfortunately, I wish I knew more. I think we
Right.
know a lot, probably a lot more than some people do about their families, and it's nice having still cousins that live in the house that Grandma was born in. It's amazing.
Samantha, one of the best things I think I did was before my dad passed away. He passed away in 2009, and it was probably just a couple years before that. I sat down with both him and my mom in our living room in Richfield, and I asked all the questions about the family, and I think I recorded it and went back and transcribed it. So, a lot of, when you asked me to be here, it gave me a great opportunity to just go back and look at those notes and kind of reconnect. But, having the family history is something that I mean, it really was one of the truly the best things that I've done, to look back and to see my notes that in 1942 they got plumbing. They became the first family in that community to have a telephone. The fact that my grandmother worked in New York City as a housekeeper for a year to pay back her dad for the trip here, and then went to visit her sister in Tehama County, and the man living a quarter mile away was a farmer who had 40 acres, and that was my grandfather. And they met, and less than a year later they were married. So those kinds of tidbits, that information, it does help connect with our past and our culture.
Yeah, and this is a month. This month is the Italian Heritage Month. This is perfect because it's about voices, about tradition, and connected really with our roots. And I really believe when you connect with, it's so important. When you connect with your own roots, it's almost like you connect with your soul. And you go a little more deep into yourself, who we are, right, as a human being. And we came from, from everywhere. So it's so nice that you were able to also, find documentation, find, information. That's amazing. Some people have lost everything, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, I
love
remember the first time I went there, being in Malpensa. This was before
Malpensa.
This was before 9/11, so there wasn't airport security like it is now. But the family were at our gate as we were getting ready to board the plane to go back home. Or at that point, I think it was just me. And me and Peppino sat there and cried like babies because we were going to be separated. I was coming back to the United States. He was going back to Valverde, and there was at that point there was no telling when or if I'd be back or if we'd see each other again. And
Right.
so that is definitely one of the first things that kind of pops into my mind when thinking about that trip, was just how there was that connection. He didn't speak English. I don't speak Italian, but yet there was that connection that goes beyond language.
Yeah, you made me a little emotional. It's true. Like I see, you don't speak Italian, but you really feel the connection. I think it's even stronger.
I remember the first time I went with my wife, and in 2017, and she just fell in love with them, and they treated her just like family. And when we were getting ready to leave, they said, "When are you coming back?" They wanted to know when we were going to come back and visit, and so we had to get. We said, "Okay, maybe in 2 years," and we did. We came back in 2 years, and they were, it's so enjoyable every time to go there, and but also where we are in Lucca, we've embraced the traditions and the festivities there for Agosto. La Bufana.
La Bufana.
I love La Bufana.
Really?
The cookies.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, La Befana.
We're going over, and so we're going over with some friends over Christmas, And they're leaving before La Bufana, and they said, hey, when are you going back? I said, not till after La Bufana.
Yeah.
Our next door neighbor there, she's a nurse, and she is so nice. Last year, she invited us over with her family, and we had cookies and coffee and stuff for La Bufana. I want to find the little witch.
Matt, I have a question for you. You have built an incredible career covering the 49ers. How did you first get into sport journalism?
Well, I was always kind of a sports nut as a kid. Loved it. Could not get enough of it. All sports. And I also, when I was growing up, I enjoyed writing. And, I guess my dream was to play like Major League Baseball or something, but that wasn't going to happen. So I always thought, like, how cool would it be to have a job where I was in sports? And from a very early age, like we're talking 8th grade, freshman in high school, I set my sights on becoming a sports writer. And so it just kind of worked out that way. And I stayed with it. A lot of lean years, just kind of scrapping and not making much money and just kind of trying to find my way a little bit. But I stayed with it. And in 1995, that's when I got my first job year-round covering the San Francisco 49ers. And so this is my 31st year of covering the 49ers. And this is my first, I was writing for newspapers. Newspapers were the thing. And then started to do other stuff, radio, TV. And for the past 15 years, I've been at NBC Sports Bay Area.com. And this is actually the first year where I'm not traveling and going to games. So 30 years, I went to every game, home and away. And this year, I'm in the studio full time, and I do miss the energy of an NFL stadium and that, but I don't miss jumping on a plane and those early morning flights and dealing with airports. So it's been good.
Yeah, you are an amazing journalist, by the way.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you.
I was reading everything about you. It's just so talented. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I'm pretty proud of him too. I followed his career the
Right,
whole
he's
time.
like
Back
I
when you
know.
wrote with the Argus,
Yeah.
and
right.
back then, and
Well, the Corning Daily Observer.
oh, there you go. Yeah.
Red Bluff Daily News.
I was living in near St. Louis. You came out for a game one time. We got together. That was early on in your career. When you're still writing for the paper.
Covering sports, especially football, it's all about passion and emotion. Something Italians truly understand, as you know. Mm-hmm. How do you see the connection between sports and culture and Italian culture?
Oh, that is a great question. And there, with the 49ers, there is a deep Italian history with the 49ers going back to Tony and Vic Morabito, who basically founded the 49ers in 1946. And then when their widows sold the team to the DeBartolo family, that's when this organization experienced so much success through the 1980s. And the thing that, covering the team and seeing the ownership and how they try to treat the team, there's really a tie-in there. In that, Eddie DeBartolo, the former owner, would always talk about it being a family, and it was take care of the players' families, and you're going to get their best effort, and it showed. I mean, he was a tough owner, but also a generous and giving owner, and that's been an interesting part of it too, because even to this day, under the York ownership with Jed York, who is Eddie DeBartolo's nephew, running the day-to-day operations, there is still talk of family. The 49ers don't view themselves as a football team as much as they view themselves as a family, and I think that can definitely be traced back to the Italian roots.
Yes, totally. Yeah, I can see that actually, because the Italian, they are very when you come in their family, you are a family forever. Mm-hmm. They don't let you go.
You know what? That might be part of the reason why I've been drawn to sports. It's not through the years, I pay less attention to the wins and the losses and more attention to the individuals and what drives people and the interesting stories kind of behind the scenes. That's one of the greatest things about covering a sport or covering a team like I've been able to do is that you walk into an NFL locker room and there are 53 players plus practice squad, so there might be 75 people in that locker room. Every one of them has an incredible story to tell, an incredible how they got there, the family aspect of it, the support they received along the way, maybe the people who were telling them they couldn't do it, and every player has an incredible story to tell, and I enjoy talking to the individuals and finding out what it is about their story, what separates them or what's unique about every individual who's in that locker room.
Yeah, and I can see they're very when you watch them, they remind me like Italian teams sometimes in a different like soccer. I know this is football, but they are very connected to each other. They really support each other, even if they're losing, right? Or you can tell they're like a really they have a connection. It's something between them is stronger than usually.
Yeah, what's interesting, Samantha, is a lot of times you can walk into a locker room and be around the players and just get a good sense, because not every year, every year is different. The dynamics are constantly changing, but it's how they interact with each other. And sometimes the team can be really bad, having like a lot of losses, but you feel something like, oh, there's a lot here, and in the future they're building towards something. Other times you can sense like, oh man, there's too much division, and there's no way this team can ever be successful. So that's something that when you're around and you get a sense for the individuals and just see how they interact, how they connect, you get a really good idea about what the culture is within the team and the direction the organization is going.
How do you think you are bringing your family values or heritage, shaping the way you tell stories and connect with people?
I think it's by viewing each of these individuals that I cover as a person. I think football is an interesting sport because it's the only sport where you don't see the faces of the athletes. And so a lot of times I think there's not that connection that people really view them as real people because, they look like gladiators. It's not like basketball where guys are running around in tank tops and shorts and you see their facial reactions and you get to see their body language. So I think if you're watching a basketball game, you have a pretty good idea of what these guys are about. So what I've always tried to do is, to try to bring out the personalities. And whenever I interview someone, just, talk about more than just the game, just talk more about the pass plays or the interceptions or whatever the case may be, and try to get to know the people a little bit better. And I think that kind of looking at it from that lens, it's something that interests me, and it interests me more the longer I do it, because like I said, the wins and losses, they come and go, but getting to understand what drives people, what makes them tick, where their passions truly are. And that's the thing, what's really interesting. We talk a lot about passion, in
the right place.
In the Italian-American heritage. But when a player is coming out in the NFL draft, they might be the most talented player that, in college football. But if they don't have a passion for the game, that's going to stand in the way of them accomplishing all they want to accomplish at the NFL level. And sometimes you can see it. Sometimes I can talk to somebody and get a good feel for it. But all these guys are talented. What separates the truly great players is that they have a passion for the sport. They're not in it for the money. They're not in it for the fame. They're in it to be a good team player and to win football games and be the absolute best they can be.
Right. And I love the way I watched some videos the other day. I love how you approach actually the player.
Oh,
The way you go in, close to them and talk to them. I just love the way you approach it. Very friendly, like a family.
Yeah, and a
Very.
lot of it is it's building trust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's if I ever have to be critical of a player, I want them to know that it's nothing personal. Whatever. If a guy drops a pass, I'm going to say he dropped a pass, but
Right.
it's that mutual respect where they know that I'm not taking any cheap shots or anything of that nature. And I think by and large, the guys I cover, whether it's front office, coaches, or players, they know they're getting a fair shake with me.
As we celebrate Italian Heritage Month, what message would you like to share with the Italian and Italian American community, especially young generation?
Well, it's embrace it. It's learn about it. Learning about where you came from, and I think the more you learn, the more pride there is. The more you want to learn, and it's those traditions, the family obviously is such a huge aspect of it. And I guess I wish I'd started earlier. I wish I'd learned the language, and I have, taken Italian classes before going over there. But that's a part of it. But also just just learning the background and the history. I wouldn't consider myself. I enjoy history a lot, but learning about your family history is it's indescribable, and it's so rewarding to learn about that.
I see Gary should say yes.
Yeah,
Do you have
no,
something to
everything
say?
he said.
It's amazing, right?
Oh yeah, and I think we're lucky that we still have a very close connection with our family over there, and going to visit them is amazing. And and I have introduced them to my kids and grandkids to keep the connection alive. I think it's really important, and they've embraced it. They love it. They loved going over there, and hopefully we'll be able I'll be able to share more of it with them. It's important to maintain that heritage. I mean, we're Americans, but we have shared experiences, and we have a heritage that we have to remember and hold dear. It's important.
And I'll say, I mean, it is rewarding, and it's great that our connection didn't die when our parents passed away. So it was my dad and it was Gary's mom who had that connection to Italy, and the fact that Gary now holds it, and I hold it, and he's passed it on to his kids and grandchildren, and I hope to soon pass that to my kids. We haven't been over there as a family yet, but my hope and expectation is to get over there soon, and then kind of passing the baton onto them to then hopefully they will continue those connections and pass it on to their children as well.
That's beautiful. Before we close, I would like to ask you our traditional Crave Italy question. Beside, your work, what is your passion that keep motivating you every day? And this is for both of you.
Yeah, I think my passion is family, and I'm sure you get that all the time. But also, it's the family, but it's also I have a small group of friends that we connected through our children on swim team. I'm a girl dad. All of my friends are girl dads, and I think we all share that passion of empowering our young adult daughters to be the absolute best that they can be. And it's not vino. I'm sorry, but we connect over craft beer, and our families are very close. There's one Italian family in that, but I think that to me that weekly looking ahead and when are we going to connect next? What are we going to share a meal? Where are we going? Whose house are we going to? What beverages will be served? And we sit around and we solve all the world's problems, of course.
Yes.
But we also bring everybody up to date on what our girls are doing, because my three best friends, like I said, all have two daughters. And so that's 8 daughters in our little small group that we kind of keep everybody up to date on. So that truly is a passion of mine.
I have to say, education. I like making sure my kids and my grandkids are educated about their background, their history, but just education in general. I was in the Air Force for almost 30 years. I was an instructor. I was a navigator. I flew as an instructor. After I retired, I teach at our local community college, and I volunteer with an organization that teaches life skills to children of all ages. And it's important to just travel is such a great way to learn. And I encourage anybody to do it. And I've learned so much in my travels, and so it's always learning more. Never stop learning. Never stop experiencing. Never stop getting out of your comfort zone. I'm a train guy, so I fell in love with the train system in Italy. And people who've never, over here, you ask somebody if they've ever taken a train. It's like, no. Over there, everybody takes a train.
Yeah, I know.
And it's such a great system, and it's inexpensive, and it's convenient, and you can go anywhere, just about anywhere with it. And so I've taught people about the train system over there, and because people are intimidated because they don't know it. But I said it's simple. The first time after you use it once, you won't ever not want to use it.
It's true.
And but just learning and experiencing and traveling, like I say, is all just about education, and it makes you a better person and more open to other cultures and other languages.
Yes, thank you.
And I'll say that my dad worked on the railroad for many years, and anytime Gary would come to visit, he and my dad would talk each other's ears off about trains.
Yeah. I think, that was part of where I got the passion, was from your dad. He snuck us into the train a few times, too.
Yes, he did. In the caboose?
in the caboose, in the engine. Yep.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And
nice.
It was great.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were able to, be here with us and also bring your cousin.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Samantha, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao. Arrivederci.
This season of Crave Italy is brought to you in partnership with the Consul General of Italy and the Italian Culture Institute of San Francisco. With their support, we celebrate tradition, promote the Italian language, and highlight innovation that connects Italy and America. To learn more and explore upcoming events, visit their official websites. And now it's time for L'Angolo della Lingua Italiana. Arianna, a te la parola.
Ciao a tutti e bentornati all'8º episodio di Crave Italy, L'Angolo della Lingua Italiana. So, for this week, I wanted to focus our class on one of Italy's most beloved sports, il calcio, soccer. To Italians, soccer is all but a simple sport. They view soccer as a sort of cultural phenomenon, one that is very deeply intertwined with national and regional identità, passione, and a sense of comunità. So identity, passion, and community. So, speaking from my own personal experience, team allegiance is taken very seriously in Italian households, as it is passed down through generations, forming a vital part of an Italian's identity. For example, my family and I grew up watching Roma soccer games every week during the season. We looked forward to every week, huddling around the TV to see if our team would rise up to beat their opponents. In this way, you could say that calcio, soccer, was for me, as it has historically been for others, a great way to bond with your family and the community at large. Italians, especially the older generations, take their team orgoglio, pride, very seriously. For example, many will wear their team's memorabilia during the games, regardless of whether they are watching the partita, game, live at the stadium, or through the TV screen. Attending a soccer game live at your team's stadio, especially when it is against a formidable team or one which has historically been pitted against your team. For example, for those who don't know, the Roma and Lazio soccer teams have a huge team rivalry. This whole experience is an absolutely indescribable experience. People from all walks of life join together in one space to cheer their team towards victory, using chants and songs that have been passed down through generations, such as the Roman chant, Dai Romale. Overall, if you have not done so already, I truly recommend attending a soccer game in person one of the next times you visit Italy, as it is an experience that is absolutely impossible to describe with words. I truly recommend it to all of you. Now, I hope you have enjoyed this week's classe on the complex and culturally significant obsession us Italians have with our soccer teams. Ciao a tutti! I hope to see you all again next week. Arrivederci!
Thank you, Arianna. See you next week. This segment is brought to you by Manolisa Maremonti, a stunning Italian restaurant in San Francisco, California, where tradition meets elegance. Let's take a look.
Welcome in Mona Lisa Maremondi, la vera cucina italiana, autentica, mediterranea. Abbiamo una cucina stupenda con homemade pasta, origin from South Italy, the steakhouse and real seafood fresh. Abbiamo il pesce fresco, qua si mangia all'italiana. Mona Lisa Maremondi 414 Colombo. Vi aspettiamo, buon appetito. Venitemi a trovarmi, grazie.
Alice Bakery Inc. is one of the Crave sponsors, a California-based boutique that celebrates style and self-expression. This wonderful boutique offers an incredible selection of clothing for women of all ages, designed to suit every style, taste, and occasion. At the heart of Alice Bakery Inc. philosophy is the belief that fashion is more than just clothing. It's a way for women to express themselves and feel confident no matter where life takes them.
Thank you to Alice Baker Inc. for supporting this episode. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us and thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check our website and subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media e ci vediamo settimana prossima. Ciao a tutti!